For a while there, KFC dipped their toe into gaming. They built an actual console that played games and kept your chicken warm. The KF console had 4K graphics and a built-in chicken chamber that used the system's heat to toast those drumsticks. It was part PC, part air fryer. It's proof that anything goes with fried chicken. That's random. About as random as that time a bat won a Bird of the Year competition. Or the real reason why actors say break a leg before getting up on stage. Here's 20 random facts that sound fake, but they're not. They're true. Now, let's burn some fat. People say when you burn fat, it just melts away. It doesn't. You actually breathe it out. Most of the fat leaves your body as carbon dioxide and the rest water. So when you're puffing on a run, you're quite literally exhaling your love handles. Technically, you're not burning fat, you're breathing it. And now let's move on. How's about IKEA? IKEA's product names are all in Swedish, so it makes sense that sometimes, when you say it in English, it doesn't sound quite right. Take the snod-rotting pillowcase, for example, or the bark-ass pendant lamp. And while you're there, why not throw in the fartful desk? If you needed a sign not to spend half a day assembling that flat pack, this was it. And for the record, fartful, it means speedy. Still not sure how that has any relevance to a desk. What I am sure of is that you won't need that furniture in prison. In 2006, a TV news crew filmed inside a UK prison. Alright, nothing special. Until someone noticed the footage showed a clear, crisp close-up of the prison master key. Now, this was a problem. Once the image was out there, anyone with a run-of-the-mill 3D printer could make an exact copy. They ended up replacing over 11,000 locks and 3,500 keys. It cost millions, all because a camera guy was a little too good at his job. That was unexpected. Kind of like what happened when a city decided to bring its trees into the digital age. In Melbourne, city officials actually gave trees their own email addresses. It was a clever idea. It gave the public a way to report damage and help trees in need of a little TLC. But then something unexpected happened. The trees started getting their own fan mail. They became local celebrities, getting messages like, "You provide shade better than most people provide friendship." And even, "Sorry mate, didn't mean to scuff your bark." Melbourne really upped their dating game. Tinder for trees. There's some weird ideas out there. Take the Abilene Paradox, for example. I doubt you've heard of it. It's that weird thing that happens when a group decides to do something that no one actually wants. Everyone just assumes everyone else is into it, so they go along. The name comes from a real family who drove all the way to Abilene, Texas, only to realize, once they got there, that none of them had actually wanted to go. Torturing yourself by driving hours across country in the sweltering Texas heat. It's like an accidental form of peer pressure. For whatever reason, actors used to think saying good luck before a show was bad luck. So instead they'd say go and break a leg. But it didn't actually refer to the actor's leg. It's old theatre slang. The leg line was the imaginary line if you connected the curtains on each side of the stage. Breaking that line, otherwise known as breaking a leg, meant stepping past the curtains to bow in front of the audience after a great performance. Now, from actors to astronauts. NASA paid engineers to invent a pen for space. Early pencils were a fire hazard. Turns out graphite dust and pure oxygen don't mix. Enter the Fisher Space Pen. No surprise, a guy named Paul Fisher invented it. It writes upside down, underwater, and even in the extremes of minus 35 to 120 degrees Celsius. Everyone talks about the space race being a race to the moon, but no one ever talks about the guy who made the pen that could literally defy physics. Well, gravity. Sort of like birds. In 2021, New Zealand held its annual Bird of the Year competition. The winner? A bat. The long-tailed bat isn't even a bird. Technically, it's a small insect-eating mammal, but it still took the crown. Actually, it dominated, polling nearly twice as many votes as second place. It's a bit like the human equivalent of me winning Miss Universe. The chances are slim. The chance you'll get sick if you eat raw kidney beans, though, not so slim. This is because raw kidney beans are actually toxic, and undercooked ones, even worse. They contain a natural toxin that can make you violently ill after just a few bites. The FDA and the UK's Food Standards Agency have both issued formal warnings. Eating just 4 or 5 raw beans can trigger severe poisoning. Boiling kills the toxin completely, but slow cookers don't always get hot enough. There's a silver lining though. At least now we've got an excuse not to eat kidney beans. From eating food to smelling it. Everyone loves eating Cheetos, but smelling them? I'm not so sure. In 2014, Cheetos launched a limited edition perfume called Cheeto by Chester. They claimed it captured the essence of warm cheese dust. It came in a clear glass bottle, sold out in hours, and yes, people genuinely wore it. Cheeto by Chester. When the US banned alcohol in 1920, people were so confident it'd end crime that some towns ended up selling their jails. They figured booze was to blame for just about everything wrong with society. Murder, theft, corruption. And once they got rid of it, people would behave. Turns out they didn't. Organised crime exploded, networks of hidden bars popped up everywhere, and before long, new jails were being built to replace the old ones they'd just torn down. That was a bad decision. Over time, there's been plenty. Some about prisons, others about peanuts. Peanut allergies are serious, like genuinely life-threatening. So it might surprise you that back in the year 2000, doctors thought the best way to prevent them was simply to avoid peanuts altogether. The American Academy of Pediatrics even told parents to keep kids under 3 completely peanut-free. That advice didn't just miss the mark, it did the exact opposite. Later, studies found that early exposure actually reduces the risk. For years, parents were unknowingly doing the complete opposite of what really worked. So if a doctor tells you to stare at the sun, don't do it. This is because your eyes can get sunburn. The condition's called snow blindness. It happens when UV rays bounce off snow and ice, fry your corneas, and turn your vision pure white for hours. It doesn't help that fresh snow reflects up to 80% of UV. So yeah, just wear goggles. Aloe vera and eyeballs don't mix. Back in the 70s, a guy named Gary Dahl became a millionaire by selling rocks. Specifically, pet rocks. Each one came in a bed of straw, shipped inside a little cardboard box complete with breathing holes. He sold millions and made tons of cash. Proof that you don't need a 9 to 5. Just invent a lazy person's hamster. From selling rocks to sinking like one. You know that old warning? You shouldn't swim right after eating. Like your lunch is going to somehow make you cramp up and drown. Well, it's a complete myth. It came from the idea that digestion draws blood from your muscles, leaving them low on oxygen and prone to cramping. But studies show the effect is tiny, nowhere near enough to cause problems. Rest assured, there's no better time to do a quick cannonball than right after you've smashed that buffet. Do you get it? Because you're heavier. China has some strange trends, but there's none stranger than tooth tattoos. People have started tattooing their actual teeth with tiny hearts, flames, and even logos of famous brands. Think Nike ticks, Gucci monograms, or that Louis Vuitton LV print plastered right on a molar. Don't worry, it's not like a traditional tattoo. The ink only lasts a few weeks, but it still raises one important question. Why? And then there was Lego. Back in 1997, a cargo ship off the coast of Cornwall lost a container carrying nearly 5 million Lego pieces. Since then, tiny dragons, swords, and scuba tanks have been washing up on beaches all over England. But it's one particular piece that everyone's after, the black octopus. Only around 4,000 were ever on board. Beachgoers have now turned treasure hunters, all in an effort to track down this elusive plastic nugget of gold. And elsewhere in England, people are intentionally hurling themselves down near vertical hills, chasing a 9-pound wheel of double Gloucester cheese. The cheese can reach speeds of over 110 kilometers an hour. It's basically a dairy-based missile. One cheese-chasing champion tore half his calf muscle, broke his ankle, and gave himself concussion, all in a single run. Locals call it tradition. Sounds to me more like this whole cost of living crisis taking its toll. We've started running after cheese. And if you think that's desperate, how about selling sand? Yeah, There's actually a black market for sand, and it's way bigger than you think. It's used in concrete, glass, and even in phone screens, so the demand is there. But it's not all sand. That desert sand is way too smooth. The river and beach sand is where the money's at. The illegal trade brings in over $200 billion a year globally. India even has its own sand mafia. So the next time you go to the beach, bring pockets. You may just walk away with a fortune. Whether it's fried chicken-powered gaming consoles, how IKEA products aren't as offensive as they seem, or that time when Cheetos turned cheese dust into a luxury fragrance. It's a crazy world we live in. And don't forget to check these out. Plenty more ridiculous facts to go around. Thanks for supporting the channel. I'll see you next time.